Our gospel lesson this morning is from the Gospel of Matthew. It is the story that we hear and remember for Epiphany. I'm reading from Matthew 2, verses 1 through 12, found on page 2 in the New Testament portion of your Pew Bible. Listen for God's word. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising and have come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for from you shall come a ruler who is to shepherd my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out. And there ahead of them went the star that they had seen at its rising until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw that the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy. On entering the house, they saw the child and Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
At this time, Jill Rawhouser is the one who came up with this Epiphany message for us today, and Worship Committee is very excited that we're getting to have that as our Epiphany lesson. But we want to invite the kids, if you want to come up and sit with her while she reads the story.
Several months ago, I was looking for something to do in the Sunday school class that Diana and I teach, and I looked in the library and came across a book called The Camels Are Coming by Andy Edington. And for several months, the Worship Committee met. I tried to get to do something for it with the congregation, and they finally gave in on Epiphany, since this is kind of a book about Epiphany from the Camels' point of view. Andy Edington is someone that many of us have met as a child of God. He had a prison ministry, and he wrote the Bible from the prison view, and he also wrote a couple of children's books. The Camels Are Coming is one of those. Once upon a time, far out in the desert area of the east, there were born 3 camels. The 3 camels became great friends. The camels were named Humpty, Dumpty, and Bumpty. Bumpty felt that he was different, having only one hump. Humpty and Dumpty were bothered because they were not different. Humpty and Dumpty were camels with 2 humps, while Bumpty had 1 hump. The camels discussed their problem. "I have an idea," said Humpty. "Let us find 3 wise men who have no means of transportation. We can each carry a wise man, and from one of them, we can learn an answer to our problem." And a great idea, said Dumpty and Bumpty. The camels soon found 3 men on the desert who were making sandcastles, meditating, telling stories, and relaxing in the sun. "These men must be wise," said Dumpty, "for they do not fight the city traffic, and they have no camels yet." When the wise men saw the camels, they were very pleased and at once began to plan to visit the city. That night, there appeared in the heavens a new and beautiful star. "What does it mean?" asked Bumpty. "I don't know," said Humpty, "but the 3 wise men are gazing at it." Soon, the 3 wise men climbed up on Humpty, Dumpty, and Bumpty and started to follow the star. After traveling many days, the 3 wise men came to the castle of Herod the king. "Mighty king," said one of the wise men, "we have seen a new star, and we think a new king is born. Do you know anything about this?" "No, I don't," said Herod, "but if you find this newborn king, return and tell me so that I might visit him." The wise men then wisely departed and followed the star to the little old town of Bethlehem. There they found the star directly over a stable where a baby had just been born, whose name was Jesus. Humpty, Dumpty, and Bumpty were all tied in the same stable where Jesus lay. Humpty, Dumpty, and Bumpty didn't think the wise men were very smart giving a baby gold, frankincense, and such. The wise men presented rich gifts to the child. The baby Jesus smiled at the camels, and they were greatly excited. Jesus did not care that I had only one hump, laughed Bumpty. He didn't notice that Humpty and I had two either, said Dumpty. There was a donkey in the stable named Big D. He told the camels about the shepherds. There were sheep there who also told of angels singing. Really, the wise men have solved our problem, for they brought us to Jesus, and Jesus accepts us just as we are. The wise men were smart enough not to return to King Herod, as they did not trust him. Humpty, Dumpty, and Bumpty were just happy to be themselves, to do their own thing, and happy that they knew Jesus. The end. Does that story tell you anything? Nothing? What did you learn?
I learned that it's okay to be different.
She learned it's okay to be different. I think that's what I like best about the story. Because was it Bumpty only had one hump, and Dumpty and Humpty had two humps. And did Jesus care? No. Jesus didn't care. Anything else from this story? Camels were pretty smart, weren't they?